Secret number 2, strategy, right? So this is a 2-part series to strategy. And the first part is going to be goals, right? So we want to be able to set smart goals, not just goals, but smart goals. And that's an acronym, meaning it's SMART. And these goals, these acronyms have a meaning, right? So let's go through it. SMART goals. The S stands for specific. You need to be really specific with your goals, okay? So rich is not a goal. Rich is that's like saying, hey, I want to go somewhere and putting that in your GPS. When you type in somewhere, where's that going to lead you to? Where's the directions going to take you to somewhere? That's not specific. You need to put in a complete address, 123 Peachtree Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30000. So you need to set specific goals. You can't just say, I want to be rich. That's not specific. You need to say, I want to make $10,000 a month. Okay, that's a specific goal. I want to make $100 a day. I want to sell one feature per week. I want to do one feature per week. One client purchase a feature every week. So that's specific goals. The next one is going to be measurable. They need to be measurable, okay? And from June 1st to June 30th, I want to have recorded 4 verses. I want to have recorded 4 songs for my album in the month of June. I can know by the end of June that I have recorded how many verses got recorded, how many songs got recorded, whatever your goal is, how many shows you did, whatever your goal is, it needs to be measurable. Meaning like you could go back and calculate it. If you were to draw it on a graph, you could see the results, right? The next one needs to be attainable. Means it needs to be something that's reachable, something that's logical, something that's realistic, right? It needs to be an attainable goal. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and be able to make $1 million a day, but you could say maybe in 10 years, you could be making $1 million a day, okay? The next one's going to be relatable. It needs to be something that has a personal meaning to you, something that means something to you deeper than just a physical or materialistic reasoning, right? It needs to be something that you have almost an emotional attachment to. I need to get my mom out of the hood. You know what I'm saying? I need to make sure my dad is getting his medical bills taken care of. I have to make this work. It needs to be something that you're emotionally tied to. It's got to be deep. You need to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to reach this goal? Okay? And the next one needs to be, the next one's going to be T, which is going to be time bound, right? That means you need to be able to put a date on it. I forget the name of the law, but it's a law that states that time will stretch to fill the time that you give it. And I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but basically what it's saying is, you know how in school, when they would say, hey, you got 2 months to finish this project, and you would get it done the night before. You would do the whole project in 1 or 2 nights. Because you gave it 2 months, it took you 2 months to do it. So whatever you set your goal to, you want to make sure that it's attainable, which means that it's a realistic goal. It's something you can actually do, but you want to put a time base on it to say, hey, look, I can actually do this within this time. So for me, a goal would be by January 1st, 2022, I want to be making $10,000 per month. Right? So at that rate, I would have enough to cover all my expenses and have money in savings, right? On a consistent basis, right? So SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relative, time bound. SMART goals. The next thing, and like we said before, it's going to be find your reason why. Why is this goal important to me? Why is this goal something that I feel I need to attain? Because if you don't know why you want to do it, you might want to do it today, but tomorrow you want to do something else. And that's how that goes. So once you have that specific goal in mind, you got this SMART goal set, whatever it is, now you need to reverse engineer it to where you are today. So start with what your goal is. Your goal is $10,000 a month. What steps do you need to take to get to $10,000 a month based on where you are now, what skills you have now, everything, all the resources that you currently have, the network that you have, the people you know, your network, and how can you use those to kind of plan step by step from where you are now to where your goal is by that date, that SMART goal. And then another thing that'll really help you is to know who you want to be, right? Be clear on the person that you want to become 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Who do you see? I remember reading that Michael Jackson, between the time where he was young Michael coming with the Jackson 5, there were a few years in there before he came back out as Teen Michael and then dropped the Thriller album and things like that, right? It was a time where we didn't hear anything from Michael. I know a lot of you guys probably don't remember this time. Even me, I wasn't even around during this time, but I remember the story. He was saying that he actually wrote a letter to his future self. So he wrote a clear, precise, specific, measurable, attainable, relative, time-bound goal, basically in the form of a letter, and wrote it to his future self and filled it out. I'm going to be the greatest this. I'm going to shake crowds and be the first person to ever do this. I'm going to make my fans happy, this, that. You know what I'm saying? You know how Mike was. But as a teenager, a young teenager, he wrote that letter to himself, and everybody knows the measure of success that he was able to receive because of how specific, measurable, attainable, relative, and time-bound he set his goals and made them clear, And basically you want to, the last thing you want to do is define who your ideal fan is. Who is your target fan? If you could pick somebody who would be your dream fan, like this is the person who would stream every song, like every Instagram picture, share every post, come to every show, be an hour early, behind the scenes getting behind the scenes VIP tickets, you know what I'm saying? Bringing 10 of their friends, playing your music in every car ride. Who is that person? Describe how old are they? You know what I'm saying? Where do they live? How much money do they make? Be really clear and specific so that you can make everything to that person. And a lot of times, it's going to be you. It may be your future self. It may be your past self who may be that ideal fan of you. So, but you need to be clear on who that is so that everything you do, anytime you do an interview, you're speaking to that person. Anytime you do a music video, you're performing for that person. When you do a show, you know that these are the people. It's a little bit of that person in everybody who's in the crowd. You may not meet that one person who is that exact mental picture you got in your head of that person, but it's going to be, people are going to relate to parts of that person. Just like throughout all the people you meet in your life, some people like you, some people don't, but there are people who are just attracted to you and to your life, and you guys relate and you have connections, and they just fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? And those are the type of people you want to connect at a mass scale, at a major level, right? So that's going to be basically setting goals in this portion of the course.